is, there is this very interesting thing. If you think about it, the first series was printed in 1919. Okay. The second series in 1925. Where did these letters come from? They were all in the documents which Olcott had. So after his death, all his documents, papers, letters, everything were in his trunks. Who opened those trunks? How did all that get organized? All of that was done over a period of time with Rajadasa supervising it. He did that whole work. In those trunks, we also found HPB scrapbooks. So he organized those letters. He was such a person, many projects inside the TS he has started. So if there is time in the end, we will go through the new projects that he started. But this was one of those projects that the letters which were not direct connected to either Sinnett or Hume, but to so many other people, he compiled into these books. Now, the thing with it is that these books have not got anybody commenting on them. There is no commentary to read and to understand. Most of the time, one has to refer to old diary leaves to see which period, what might have happened, and to connect. So that is what I have done. Hopefully, in the future, researchers will be able to understand these letters better. So let us start with letter number 28. This is addressed to Olcott and by Master Moria. He says, if you want to oblige me personally, then you will hurry as quick as you can and put HPV's room in order. I have pressing business in the room tomorrow, early morning, and I would smother there were it left in that state of chaos. So this refers to that HPB's room was probably in a mess, and the master had to go in his Mayavi roop in his astral form to that room for some work, and he was not able to do that. Hence, he asked Olcott to clean up the room. So very simple letter, and there is not much to understand in that. So now, before we go into the next letter, let's just try to see the timeline of HPB and HSO's travels. So they left New York in December 1878, December. They traveled to India via UK. They spent 2 weeks in UK. Then they reached India in February 1879, almost 1.5, 2 months after they left New York in February 1879. They landed in Mumbai and established the first headquarters there. Now, all of 1879, from February onwards, they traveled in North India. They met Sinnett. They launched the Theosophist because they were in dire need of money. And and also the problem that they were facing was that too many people were writing letters to them, and they were answering each one, and many of the letters were questions which were repetitive. So they found it very hard from morning till night they were answering letters. So they thought a better solution is to print the letters and the answers so that those kind of answers could be available for everyone. That's how they decided to launch the Theosophist, and actually it started making money for them after a period of time. After 4 months, it started making money for them. So they launched the Theosophist on the 1st of October 1879, and then in May 1880, HPB, HSO, Damodar, Wimbridge, Rosa Bates, etc. go to Ceylon. They arrive in Ceylon on 17th May 1880. So all this is going to be relevant to us in our next letter number 29. Now, this was received on 3rd October 1879. You just now saw that the Theosophist, the first issue, was published on the 1st of October. So this is right after that. So this is from Master Serapis. So the first point here is assert your rights to the paper. And in brackets, what I have written, the Theosophist first published in October 1st, 1879. It was established for you. None but you too have a right over it as directed by dash, by some other adept. So now the context of this is, we'll go to understand that part. We can get the context of this from an excerpt in the old diary leaves. The problem was that who was interfering? in this publication of the Theosophist, it was other than Swami Dayanand. And we will see why in the excerpt. Let's read the excerpt from the old diary leaves. Alcott says, about this time, we were passing through the disagreeable phase of our relations with Swami Dayanand. Without the least cause, his attitude towards us became hostile. He wrote exasperating letters, then modifies them, again changed his tone, and so kept us perpetually on the strain. The fact is, our magazine was not in the least as exclusively Arya Samaj organ, nor would we consent to hold aloof from the Buddhists or Parsis, as he almost insisted that we should. He evidently wanted to force us to choose between continuance of his patronage and fidelity to our declared eclecticism. And we chose. For our principles, we would not surrender for any equivalent whatever. So basically, it's saying that Dayanand Saraswati ji wanted the Theosophist magazine to be an organ of the Arya Samaj exclusively and not talk about any other religion, Zoroastrianism or Buddhism. But this was not something which Alcott was willing to do. So this is probably the interference that Master Serapis Bey is saying, that you have the full right over the paper and do not get troubled by anybody's interference. Second part, which is the purple part, because here in this letter, two topics are mixed up together and discussed. So I will continue with the same topic of the newspaper, the paper Theosophist. It says, whenever convenient, explain that the paper is neither yours nor HPB's, but belongs to and is under the control of certain persons no one knows anything about except your two selves. So, again, the same point is being reiterated, that please remember that only you two are in charge of the Theosophist magazine. So, this was around the time, a year later, by the time they go, HPB and HSO go to Sri Lanka and they take the Panchsheel or pencil, there's a clean break. And from the Arya Samaj and Dayanand Saraswati completely washes his hands of the TS. Before this, the history of this is that when they were in New York, HPB and HSO, they had been corresponding with Dayanand Saraswati ji, and they had discovered that the aims of the Arya Samaj and Theosophy were very similar. So they had planned to form a united Arya Samaj Theosophical Society. They had planned to form such a society, but that whole idea was completely dropped when they found that Dayanand Saraswati ji only wanted to talk about the Hinduism aspect of it and not all the religions. So this is the first part of this letter. The second part of this letter deals with a big fight that was going on between two people at that Bombay headquarters. Okay. Now the point here, the master says, never ask the maid Rosa Bates, that is Rosa Bates, in question to do anything whatever. Dispense with her services as much as you can, and altogether if you can. Do it in such a way, however, as not to lead to an open quarrel. Try to avoid bringing into the office that opposing malevolent magnetism of the maid. You have lost 31 subscribers through that influence, more tomorrow. So in the old diary leaves, Alcott says that what had happened is, now they had established their headquarters in Bombay. Two British people, Wimbridge and Rosa Bates, accompanied them from England on their voyage to India. These two people had already been members of the TS. They had already met HSO and HPB in New York. They had already become members. And when they met them in London, they joined the party and went to India with them. Now, in these two people, Wimbridge and Rosa Bates, this letter is dealing with this person called Rosa Bates, who was a maid at that time. She was a housekeeper and taking care of the house of that where these people were living. Now, there is there is a star here. Do it in such a way as not to lead to an open quarrel. Below in the letter, it says, finally, a furious quarrel arose between Miss Bates and Madame Coulomb in July 1880. Miss Bates left and Mr. E. Wimbridge with her, both generally vilifying HPB and Colonel Olcott. So ultimately, a year later, there was a very big fight between Miss Bates and Madame Coulomb. And they both, the Miss Rosa Bates and Wimbridge, who had come with the group, had left. And before leaving, they actually went to the press. So we will see that part. Now, let us go a little more into who this Rosa Bates was. She was a teacher and she was a spinster. And her friend was this person called Edward Wimbridge. He was an artist and an architect, and both of these people became good friends to each other too. Now, Rosa Bates was a housekeeper for them in Bombay, and later on, Madame Coulomb joined the Bombay household. What Olcott did was, before they left for Sri Lanka, that is a few months later, Olcott gave all the housekeeping work to Madame Coulomb. And Rosa Bates got work connected to the printing and writing of the magazine. This, he said later on, was a big mistake because this caused a very big feud between them, because previously Rosa Bates was doing housekeeping and now the work was given to Madame Coulomb, and that created a friction. And at this point, Alcott says that I wish I had thrown both of them out, and we would have not had the problem that we had in the future. So anyway, the this on the left that you see, the Theosophist, this design was done by the other person, Edward Wimbridge, who was an artist, and he was the one who drew up this drawing for the very first Theosophist magazine. He was a good artist because he also drew this etching on copper, which was published in the fourth edition of Isis Unveiled. So he was really a good artist. And I haven't seen this particular image of HPB. So it's really nice to see this. Now, eventually, the quarrel that took place between Rosa Bates and Madame Coulomb became so bad that Rosa Bates went to the press and spoke against HPB and TS, and this affected HPB, that we will see in the next few letters. So let's go to the next letter, letter number 30. Why be selfish? There are things to learn, things to see, things good to know for the future of man. Why not give a chance equally with yourself to another? If your aversion to dash is so great that the moment has come when you dash crave for solitude, then, with the exceptions of a few quarters of an hour a day, you will be alone. I will take care, and Damodar, that MT does not annoy you. MT is my countryman, and I wish him to get his chance equally with yourself. As soon as HPB receives telegram, go. And I think they mean go to Ceylon, because that is what the next letter is all about. So now in this letter, you see the word MT, and here the master is saying that someone called MT is annoying you, and we will try to prevent him from annoying you. That is, me and Damodar will try to prevent you from annoying you. MT refers probably to Moolji Thackeray, as is as per my understanding. He was already known to HSO because HSO had been writing to Moolji Thackeray even in 1870, and HSO contacted him in 1876 and wrote to him about the TS. Moolji wrote back to HSO about the Arya Samaj, and that's how he established the contact with Dayanand Saraswati ji. Unfortunately, Moolji died in 1880, just before HPB and HSO returned back from Ceylon to Bombay. And Olcott mentions this in Old Diary Leaves, saying that they lost a sincere member. So this is the story of MT. And from what you learn from this basically is that the masters were very careful to watch the inner workings of the minds and emotions of their two founders, because for them that all the atmosphere, the sense, all that was very important. So if there is someone who's irritating what the founder, then the master was trying to help him to solve that issue also. So that is why probably these letters are difficult to understand, because they are really personal. It is really on one-to-one basis only people can understand this. So let's go to the next letter, letter 31, received on 19th May 1880. Now, this is when they have landed in Ceylon. That is the day they landed in Ceylon. Those who pause and hesitate, no, I'm not sure. I think it was May 17th they landed. So I think this is 2 days later. Sorry. Those who pause, this letter is written to Blavatsky, HPB, and written by Master Maurya. So Master says, those who pause and hesitate are the most cautious before entering into the spirit of an entirely new scheme. Those who pause and hesitate and are the most cautious before entering into the spirit of an entirely new scheme are to be generally far more relied upon than those who rush into every new enterprise like so many flies into a bowl of boiling milk. So he says that it is better for to trust on somebody who's hesitating to enter into some scheme or to commit into something, rather than someone who rushes into committing to something. If HSO refuses to accept D, then he will lose J, and with him about 2 dozen of the best men of galley. He will ruin the society. Let him consider well before he refuses. It is but prejudice and injured pride. HSO must learn to disappear and vanish before the president of the parent society. This is Maha Sahib's answer. So basically, here Master Maurya is telling HPB that if Olcott refuses to accept somebody called D, then he will lose somebody called J, and also 2 dozen um, recruits who are the best men for the Theosophical Society to become new members. So he will then thus ruin the society. He also says that if HSO uh, wants to be a proper leader, he must learn to disappear. That is, his own personality must disappear, and he is the president of the society, so he must do what is right by being the president of the society rather than his own personal pride. So that is the the advice given to HPB to advise Olcott on how he should behave. And the Mahasahib here, this is Mahasahib's answer. Probably HPB must have asked that what should I do in this situation. So that for that he is saying that this is the Mahasahib, or that is another name for master serapis. So the background of this probably is that this person D, whom HSO is refusing to accept, may be De Silva, a Sinhalese person who became a TS fellow by writing to HSO even before they left New York. HSO suspected that because of his Portuguese name, he was a Roman Catholic, and that his sympathetic letter and application for membership was a missionary trap. Later on, now this is what it is. This is the reason why HSO. Now, this is only an intelligent conjecture. It could be wrong. I could be wrong, and I have no idea whether I am right. But it does seem to be that this could be the reason, and this is collected from the Alcott's diary only. So here, it's possible that the is this person called De Silva, who was already a member, but Olcott was suspicious because he had this Portuguese name. Now, there were a lot of Sinhalese with Portuguese and Dutch names, but they were actually Buddhists. So this man De Silva was a Buddhist, but Olcott was not sure about it, and that is why he was not willing to accept him. Later on 19th May, HPB and HSO took the Panchil or Pancil, or the vows of the 5 precepts and the 3 refuges, at Vijayananda Vihara Galley. On 25th May, that is 6 days later, they formed the Galley Theosophical Society with 11 members and made De Silva the president. So it was probably accepting De Silva as the president was the problem. So this is the thing, the 11 members and De Silva forming the Galley Theosophical Society happened on the 25th of May. So this is what is the background of letter number 31. Here we see the pictures of this HPB. If you can see, this is a painting in that Vijayananda temple where they took the pencil. You see HPB where you see my arrow. This is where HPB is on the right, on the left, and Olcott on the right, and they both are repeating in Pali the Panchsheel, the five precepts. The five precepts. Do not steal. I'm not going to repeat that. I know a few. I know them, but I don't want to repeat it. Those are the five precepts in Pali, and they found it hard to say it. So there was someone who was whispering to them standing next to them, and that's how they managed to say those five precepts. And then the three refuges, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. Those are the three refuges that they were asked to say, and that is what is called taking the pencil. Uh, so that is what it is. And in the same painting, you will see that there is a written thing, a letter, which has been painted on the painting. And this letter says, this is to certify that on 19th May 1880, the founders of the Theosophical Society, Madam H.P. Blavatsky and myself took the Panchshila for the first time at Vijayananda Vihara from Akamema Dharmarama Thira. So Henry S. Olcott. So that is letter number 31. Let's go to letter number 32. This is the last of this. The least we can do for a person who has devoted her whole life to serve us and the cause we have at heart is to preserve her body and health for her whenever she may need it again. And for such is the wish of all. Perish the Theosophical Society rather than be ungrateful to HPB. Now, this is again coming in the same note as some letters that we have seen in the past, where Olcott was thinking ill of HPB, and the masters say that if you go against HPB, we would have nothing to do with you. There is no Theosophical Society without HPB. So now, because it is coming at this point, it is probably after the Ceylon trip. And what happened after the Ceylon trip was HPB and HSO had gone back to Bombay. They saw this huge fight going on between Rosa Bates and Madame Coulomb. There was already HPB was very upset with it. At that point, Senate sent an invitation for them to come to Shimla, and they just jumped at it and they went to Shimla. When they went to Shimla, Senate at that time, Shimla was full of many British people, very elite people living there. And this was their second trip to Shimla, second or third probably. This was in 1880. So this time, Simnet wanted to introduce all the British people to Blavatsky, but he knew her volatile temperament. So he told her that for the next 3 weeks, you lie low, you meet people, but don't discuss any of these things which have come in the press in Bombay. Don't talk about any of those emotional disturbances. Now, when Sinet told her that, HPP got even more upset and she burst out on HSO, and probably the reaction which HSO had with this kind of busting, this kind of emotional behavior, the frustration which Olcott had in dealing with HPB's emotional disturbance probably led to the Master M writing to Olcott about how to deal with HPB. So this is another background thing. And that's it. We can discuss a little more about it later. And I request Sushma ji to give the Hindi translation. Thank you so much.
थैंक यू विमल जी, थैंक यू प्रदीप सर। आज हम लेटर्स फ्रॉम द मास्टर ऑफ द विजडम के सेकेंड सीरीज के लेटर नंबर 28 से 32 का हिंदी अनुवाद प्रस्तुत कर रहे हैं। यह पत्र मास्टर एम ने एचएसओ को लिखा है और उसमें मास्टर ने संबोधन दिया है कि कर्नल एच.एस. ऑलकॉट, थियोसॉफिकल सोसाइटी। वो लिखते हैं कि यदि आप मुझे व्यक्तिगत रूप से उपकृत करना चाहते हैं, यानी ऑब्लाइज करना चाहते हैं, तो शीघ्र से शीघ्र एचपीबी के कमरे को व्यवस्थित कर दीजिए, क्योंकि कल प्रातःकाल ही मुझे उस कमरे में जरूरी कार्य है, और अगर वह इसी तरह से अव्यवस्थित या बिखरा पड़ा रहा तो मेरा कार्य वहीं रुक जाएगा या समाप्त हो जाएगा। मास्टर एम। लेटर नंबर 29। यह लेटर 3 अक्टूबर 1879 को एचएसओ को प्राप्त हुआ, और इसमें मास्टर एचएसओ को आदेश देते हैं, ऊपर लिखा है लेटर के बाद ऑर्डर्स, तो आदेश देते हैं कि एक प्रपत्र यानी कागज पर लिखकर अपने अधिकारों का दावा करें, क्योंकि यह आपके लिए स्थापित किया गया है, यानी एचएसओ एवं एचपीबी के लिए। इसके अलावा किसी का भी इस पर अधिकार नहीं है। जैसा कि अभी विमल जी ने बताया कि जो थियोसॉफिस्ट है, जिसका पहला अंक 1 अक्टूबर 1879 में प्रकाशित हुआ था, उसमें यह संदर्भ मिलता है। तो जैसा कि मास्टर कहते हैं कि जैसा कि निर्देश दिया गया है, और यह मास्टर सेरेपिस्ट द्वारा अक्सर प्रयोग किए जाने वाला प्रतीक चिन्ह भी अंकित है। इसी लेटर नंबर 29 का दूसरा पॉइंट है कि वो मेड यानी नौकरानी रोजा बेट्स से कभी भी कुछ करने के लिए ना कहें, हो सके तो उतनी ही सेवाएं लें, अन्यथा पूरी तरह से उससे सेवाएं लेना छोड़ दें। तीसरा, लेकिन इस तरीके से यह कार्य करें कि यह न लगे कि यह स्पष्ट झगड़ा है। और फुटनोट में लिखा है कि अंततः जुलाई 1880 में मिस रोजा बेट्स एवं मैडम कुलम के मध्य भयंकर झगड़ा हुआ। मिस बेट्स चली गई और मिस्टर ई विम्ब्रिज भी उनके साथ चले गए, और दोनों ने मिलकर एचएसओ और एचपीबी की निंदा की थी। तीसरा पॉइंट है, वो कहते हैं मास्टर कि जब भी सुविधा हो तो यह बताएं कि यह पेपर न तो आपका है न एचपीबी का, बल्कि कुछ ऐसे व्यक्तियों का है और उनके नियंत्रण में है जिसके विषय में आप दोनों के अलावा किसी को पता नहीं। और एक वो आगाह करते हैं, मास्टर कहते हैं, नौकरानी यानी मेड के उस विरोधी एवं दुर्भावनापूर्ण प्रभाव को कार्यालय में आने से रोकें, उसे दूर रखें, क्योंकि उसके प्रभाव के कारण आपने 31 सब्सक्राइबर खो दिए हैं, बाकी कल और अधिक। मास्टर सेरेपिस्ट। लेटर नंबर 30। गुरुदेव कहते हैं, स्वार्थी क्यों बने? अगर मनुष्य के भविष्य के लिए सीखने, देखने और जानने योग्य चीजें हैं, तो अपने साथ दूसरों को भी बराबर का सीखने का अवसर क्यों न दिया जाए। फिर दूसरा पॉइंट कहते हैं कि अगर आपकी घृणा इतनी अधिक हो गई है डैश डैश डैश, और आपको एकांत की तीव्र लालसा है, तो कुछ अपवाद के साथ दिन में चौथाई घंटे को छोड़कर आप अकेले ही होंगे। वो मास्टर कहते हैं कि मैं एवं दमू यानी दामोदर यह ध्यान रखेंगे कि एमटी यानी मूलजी ठाकरे तुम्हें परेशान न करें। वैसे तो एमटी मेरे ही देश का वासी है, मैं चाहता हूं कि उसे आप जैसा ही अवसर मिले। मास्टर एम। लेटर नंबर 31। यह पत्र 19 मई 1880 को संस्थापकों द्वारा सोलोन की पहली यात्रा के दौरान प्राप्त हुआ। गुरुदेव कहते हैं कि जो लोग किसी नई योजना में पूरी तरह प्रवेश लेने से पहले ही हिचकते हैं, संकोच करते हैं एवं अत्यधिक सतर्क रहते हैं, उन पर सामान्यतः अधिक भरोसा किया जा सकता है, उनकी अपेक्षा जो उबलते दूध के कटोरों में मक्खियों की तरह नए कार्य में कूद पड़ते हैं। यदि एचएसओ डी को स्वीकार करने से इनकार करते हैं तो वह जे को खो देंगे, और उसके साथ ही गोले गोले जो है वो कोलंबो में नहीं बल्कि उस समय के लंका का एक प्रमुख बंदरगाह था, वहां पर ये दोनों संस्थापक उतरे थे। तो कहते हैं कि उसके साथ ही गोले के लगभग 2 दर्जन सर्वश्रेष्ठ व्यक्तियों को भी खो देंगे और वो इस संस्था को बर्बाद कर देंगे। इनकार करने से पहले उसे यानी एचएसओ को अच्छी तरह विचार करना चाहिए कि यह केवल पूर्वाग्रह और आहत अभिमान ही है। एचएसओ को मूल संस्था यानी पेरेंट सोसाइटी के अध्यक्ष के सामने अपने अहंकार को दूर करना होगा या अपने को ओझल करना होगा, अपने को हटाना होगा। एचएसओ को यह सीखना होगा। यह महासाहिब का उत्तर है। मास्टर एम। पत्र संख्या 32। मास्टर कहते हैं, महोदय, जिस व्यक्ति ने अपना पूरा जीवन हमारी सेवा और हमारे उद्देश्यों के लिए समर्पित कर दिया है, उसके प्रति कम से कम हम इतना तो कर सकते हैं कि उसके शरीर एवं स्वास्थ्य की रक्षा करें, ताकि भविष्य में जब भी उसे इसकी आवश्यकता हो, वह उसका उपयोग कर सके। यह हम सबकी इच्छा है कि चाहे थियोसॉफिकल डैश 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 चाहे थियोसॉफिकल सोसाइटी समाप्त हो जाए, लेकिन हम एचपीबी के प्रति कृतज्ञ न हो। मास्टर एम। धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much. And we can open up for any more additions and questions. Yes, sir. Pradeep ji, you want to say something? Any questions or anything?
Any question,
that
let
Mhm.
anyone ask any question, then I will answer.
बालचंद्रन जी नमस्ते।
नमस्ते सर, बोलिए।
मैडम वो ये नरेशन तो समझ में आ गया, पर इसमें से जो कोर टीचिंग है बिल्कुल शॉर्ट में व्हाट टू टेक अवे थोड़ा बताएंगे हमारे
कोर
यूज के लिए।
कोर टीचिंग हर एक लेटर का थोड़ा सा अलग अलग ही सा है। बेसिकली यहाँ पे जैसे मैनेजमेंट ऑफ पीपल, अगर आप वो ये पॉइंट देखें रोजा बेट्स और मैडम कुलोम, आप लोगों की मैनेजमेंट कैसे करें। अगर आपको किसी में कुछ नेगेटिव दिख रहा है और आप श्योर नहीं है, तो कैसे वो आप सिचुएशन को मैनेज करेंगे। आई थिंक दैट कुड बी वे थिंग। थोड़ा सा सतर्क रहना पड़ता है। इफ दीज पीपल हैड बीन लिटिल मोर केयरफुल, दे वुड हैव गॉटन रिड ऑफ दिस मैडम कुलोम फ्रॉम द बिगनिंग. So that is something I'm thinking. Apart from that, like it's difficult to say. Each one is different. Like the Dayanand Saraswati thing, I'm glad they stuck to their horses because they did not succumb to the pressure of Dayanand Saraswati. See, already Arya Samaj was spread in many countries. So it would have been easier for them to spread theosophy through the Arya Samaj network. But they did not lose their integrity. And I think that is a very important lesson. They had a very few set of lodges at that time, only three, I think, at that stage. One in New York, one, I think, somewhere in Europe, and one in Bombay. And they could have, yeah, and then, of course, I think one more in London. But they could have easily used the Arya Samaj and succumbed to that. But they stuck to their guns and said, no, we will talk about all religions and not just Hinduism. So I think integrity is very important. That is one important takeaway with the stance which Olcott took against the controlling nature of Dayanandji. Then the generally there is this internal difficulty always which Olcott has had with dealing with the emotional nature of uh, Blavatsky, because Blavatsky used to get affected very badly if something was see in print about her. She came from a royal family, and this aspect was her weakness. This has been mentioned by Serapis in some other part, that this is her weakness, that she can't stand negative publicity. This was her dweller on the threshold. So this was a difficulty she had. And when she became emotionally perturbed, it affected the entire environment. What else? I think पंचशील के बारे में आप ले सकते हैं कि these people were Buddhists. they always followed Buddhism, but they took the vows. And that really, actually, ये पूरा स्टोरी अगर आप इसको और डिटेल में देखेंगे तो इसमें आप देखेंगे कि ऑलकॉट कितना, what a big role he had in re-energizing Buddhism in Sri Lanka. Because वहां पे there was one person who was trying to do something, keeping because इतना ज्यादा Christian missionary का control था. 70,000 children were in missionary schools. There were very few Buddhist schools. So 200 Buddhist schools were established by Olcott so that Buddhism का revival हो सके. So that part is very interesting, how they spend time and energies. Leadbeater also went there. Leadbeater was the, I think, one of the principal of that Vijay Ananda's college that was there in Sri Lanka. So that revival of Buddhism and the way they worked for it, that story is very inspiring. That's what I can say.
थैंक यू मैडम। मतलब ये एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन और संबंध और थोड़ी टीचिंग के बारे में इसमें समझ में आया। थैंक यू मैडम।
Thank you.
Yes, there are some important points. Madhavji, you can take note. One is letter number 28. Mahatma, we expect also sometimes we are in our home always in chaotic state to keep our materials. So the last letter number 28, I have a pressing business in the room tomorrow, early morning, and I would smother there were it left in that state of chaos. That means we should be always very particular about our room where we have to keep each and everything properly. So who can say at what time or any higher forces can come. So that is the reason here they have given, if you want to oblige me personally, then we'll have to hurry as quick as you can put HP's room in order. That is one part. We should keep our details, everything in a particular room or in our prayer room or meditation room in orderly manner so that higher forces can come. Then next important points here, why be selfish? Suppose if you know something, suppose you have a divine knowledge. So Mahatma, Master M giving clear-cut instruction. If there are things to learn, things to see, things good to know for the future of man, why not give chance equally with yourself to another? That means when you're learning something, be a learner throughout your life. You can learn from Mahatma many times, even you can learn from the stone, you can learn from the other. Whether the other is your younger one, it does not matter. You can learn from him. So you should be always alone. The learner may climb to the temple of a divine wisdom, it is said. So the other is he may be or she may be your wife, your son or daughter, or any relatives. So if things are things to learn, things to see, things good to know for the future of man, why not give chance equally with yourself? आपको जानना होगा और दूसरों को भी जानना होगा. ये very important instruction. Then letter number 31, always I just heard many years back, Radhaji, she never hurry for to take any decision. Suppose if you, when Vic given this chronological edition of the book, whether it is before that it is a phase-wise book. So when he approached to printing of this book, chronological edition. Radhaji almost taken 2-3 years to take the decision. So don't be hurry to take any decision in your mundane world, it means your daily life, or in or in your spiritual life. So master even given a decision, a clear-cut example. If you take a hurry decision, uh, who rush into every new enterprise, like so many flies into a bowl of a boiling milk. If you go through your theosophical career, means the day you joined until now, there are many people who are hurriedly joining theosophical society, but they cannot. But those who are reluctant, those who are taking decision after coming and also joining after, they are more relied upon. So here, let us note those who pause and hesitate are the most cautious before entering into the spirit of the entirely new scheme. They are to be more relied upon. Then, letter number 32. Here, though it was a decision or clear-cut instruction, perish the Theosophical Society rather than be ungrateful to HBB, but at present time, we should be very serious that we should be study whatever teachings given by master through the H.V. Blavatsky. Because we shall not ungrateful to her, ungrateful to H.V. Blavatsky, because she is the messenger of masters. She has given whole life to serve us and serve the masters. So masters helped her, and in the Adair Convention, someone was also that was there in when she was almost on deathbed. Nurse was almost thought that she will no more. She will be no more in the morning. Then master appear and given the option whether you want to complete the work or you want to will go away. So she decided to complete the work. Then next day, nurse when she came and saw the Blavatsky is as fit as previously. So our duty is let us continue the work given by Blavatsky. So we will be grateful for Blavatsky through the Theosophical Society. These 3-4 points are very relevant. What Bimalji given to discuss with us. So Madhavji, we can do that. Thank you.
Thank you,
And
sir, very much.
anyone
Thank you
can
very
add. Okay.
Actually, sir, I this Geeta Jayakumarji's book, no?
Ah,
So I managed to mostly I've read it. So there are so many things that Jinaraja Dasa has initiated inside the campus. I made a list of the things that he has initiated apart. So I was feeling so inspired by the amount of work he has done. Can I share that with
yes, yes, yes.
Okay, I'll just quickly share it. So can you can see this? Yeah. So he took up many tasks. So one of them was the first we know that he opened up all Alcott's trunks, look at all the documents, and did all this segregation and made these two letters series. Second is that it was J. Krishnamurti who had suggested in the 1925 convention, which is the Silver Jubilee convention, in which Krishnamurti suggested that why don't we have all the prayers of all the religion in the convention. So it was Jinaraja Dasa who compiled all these prayers, which we are now using. Same set of prayers. It was Jinaraja Dasa who compiled the prayers. Then this the trilithon. We know that there are five trilithons in the that arch, that stone arch. It's called trilithon. That five trilithons are there in the campus. Now the one trilithon is in front of the banyan tree. That trilithon was not there before. It was Jinaraja Dasa who installed it in the banyan tree because it was just lying next to the river bank. Nobody had installed it anywhere. It was Jinaraja Dasa who put it in that beautiful location in front of the banyan tree. Then one very good contribution. See, in the headquarters hall, HPB had HSO had put the representation of the four major religions, but not of the Muslim religion. There was Hinduism, Buddhism, Zoroastrianism, and Christianity. There was all of their figures were there: Krishna, Christ, Buddha, and Zoroaster. All four figures were there in that headquarters hall. But the Muslim religion was not represented. It was C. Jinarajadasa who organized that Arabic calligraphy, which is there on the eastern wall in the headquarters hall. Also, he was responsible for the design of that mosque, which is there in the forest. Then, when Leadbeater was asked to resign, even Jinaraja Dasa decided to resign, and he supported Leadbeater throughout that bad period. And after that, Annie Besant got Leadbeater back, and everything was fine. But Jinaraja Dasa supported Leadbeater at that time, saying all this that the Americans are saying about Leadbeater is wrong. He supported him. That is also a leadership quality, to stand by your thinking. Then, when J. Krishnamurti's teachings was taking over the whole society. There is a beautiful writing by uh, Jinaraja Dasa called Krishnamurti, in which he has written why theosophy is as important and should not be given up just because Krishnamurti's new teachings are there. Again, that was like a good perspective, a direction for theosophists, that okay, now we have all this beautiful teaching of Krishnamurti. Whom do we follow? Should we follow theosophy? Should we follow Krishnamurti? So he again had that leadership quality of giving a good direction for the existing theosophists. Then this Founders Avenue, which we know that big trees are there, those mahogany trees they are called. It was Jinaraja Dasa's idea to plant 46 mahogany trees on that lane, saying that this will be something beautiful for the future. This was his idea. Then that seat, which is J. Krishnamurti's seat, that purple seat, tiled seat, which is gifted by the Spanish section, it was actually gifted to Jinaraja Dasa. He came and got it installed at the place where Krishnaji had given a talk in 1933. So he gave it in honor of Krishnamurti and placed it over there. That was Jinaraja Dasa's idea. Then, of course, the greatest thing, 17th November 1949, he started the School of Wisdom. Till today, we get new theosophists, new members, thanks to the School of Wisdom, and very strong members. And all over the world, this is a very good initiative of the Theosophical Society, which was started by Jinaraja Dasa. And in 1921, he started the TS Employees Cooperative Credit Society. What was that? That was a way of giving these this get for the TS employees to get a loan. So somebody it was a society in which one person could give a guarantee to another person, saying that this man, I give a guarantee that this guy will repay the loan. So this credit society was started by Dina Rajadasa. So these are so many nice initiatives. I think he was a really, truly great leader. And I was searching, there's no autobiography of Dina Rajadas actually. There's no one who has written anything. Nobody has compiled his life's the greatness of this person. No, he was like one helper for everybody. He was vice president for 7 years in Annie Besant's tenure. And he became the fourth president after Arundel. But a simple human being, and so many very nice additions and contribution. So I just wanted to say this. And all this is actually from this book, which was those who didn't come. Can you see it? Yeah, I'm not able to show it. Here. This is the book by Geeta
Yes,
Jayakumar.
yes, yes.
And I learned all this from this book. So nice.
Very interesting book. Very nice presentation also made by Geeta Jayakumar.
And the peculiar thing is that in this book, there is this at the end of the book, there is a bibliography, and in which all alphabetically they will say which every person, like if there is, where are the references to Damodar, for example, all the numbers will be there. There is no bibliography for Jina Rajadasa because he's throughout there in the book. How will they give a bibliography? Because he's almost there every 3-4 pages. He's there in this book. So it is so interesting. This the life of Jina Rajadasa. He's the one person who had no controversy. No controversy at all. And supported
Jina Dasa is the president. Only president. I don't know. We don't know what will be in future or team broadcast. But he left presidency means after his term, 7 years term over, he did not prefer to contest again. So he allowed his vice president N. Sriram to become the president.
Yes.
Many things are there, and Geeta Jayakumar totally based on the whatever the materials available in archives.
Yes.
Suppose Professor P. Krishna, in his book, he has given some references about Krishnamurti. While passing through Garden of Remembrance, he marked that the three mystic stones are not available now. It was P. Krishna who mentioned in his book. Then Krishnamurti inquired it from Radhaji. Then Radhaji had no knowledge, so she inquired and she reached the conclusion that it is John Coates who removed that three precious stones. For reasons nobody knows. So again, Krishnamurti purchase means Radhaji purchase and again uh, place that three stones or five stones uh, in a garden of remembrance for any mystical reason. So that was available in a P. Krishna book. Maybe there are many mystical things which is not available in Gita Jayakumar book because Gita Jayakumar book is based on the archives materials which is
Yes.
available now.
That's
Anyway,
true.
that is great book, great presentation Gita Jayakumar did.
It's like it is all the contributions so many people have made, which we don't know about. How each for this property, how bit by bit they bought, who all spent money. I was looking at this person, what's his name? Charles Harvey, who sponsored the making of the Leadbeater Chambers. He has given in 1908, I think, 30,000 pounds. 30,000 pounds he has given as per the book.
Okay.
30,000 pounds is 456 million pounds today. I can't understand. Either the number is wrong. Is it possible a person can give 456 million pounds today? 30,000 pounds in 1908. I have no idea how, whether I have done the calculation wrong, somebody can find out later. So these kinds of things which nobody knows about, these names, that is there, that so many people's contributions to add to all this land, pieces of land, even that Masonic temple, a person called Sheshachari. Nobody knows who is that person. He is actually quite, now he's not, nobody knows him, but he was well known at that period. He was someone who also helped to start the Mylapore Arts Club, in which they promoted art and the music festivals. So this man donated the land for the present Masonic temple. These types of things. I mean, that is why it is a precious book. Like you say, sir, of course, a cult part is not there that much, but there is. There is a description about Geoffrey Hodson's experience of the angel of the banyan tree. A very beautiful explanation, description. So that is there in the book, but there are some aspects. Okay, so I think we can end,
Okay,
and
very
I
good.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Request Sister Mitalini to give the closing prayer, please. And thank you all for patiently listening.
Namaste to all. Ashoto ma Satgamaya Tamasho ma Jyotirgamaya Mrutormang Amrutangamaya सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु न कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति
Thank you. Now we are
Thank you,
closing
everyone.
session.
Thank you.